I want to fight him, bro, because he been tricking the boxing game for too long. He been tricking the boxing game for too long. He makes look good. He makes look better than what it is. Resume what? What kind of resume he got? He no fucking resume, man. He don't got no resume, man. He don't got no goddamn, no goddamn Sugar Ray Leonard on his resume. He don't got no goddamn Marvin Hagler. He don't got no real deal fighters like that on his shit. He got fights we all knew he was gonna win, man. He got fights he all knew we was gonna win, man. I'm not trying to hear that. I'm not trying to hear none of that.
We unpack. We unpack. We unpack. Coming to you live, Boxing Ego Unpack. Yeah. We unpack. We unpack. We unpack. Coming to you live. Keyshawn Davis attempts to clown Gervonta Davis, his resume. And that's pretty stupid, if you ask me. In this video, I'll break down why it's stupid for Keyshawn Davis to be trying to insult the next man, especially the face of boxing, Gervonta Davis's record. So you guys seen at the beginning, Keyshawn Davis, he went live on social media. He's feeling himself. He's 25 years old. He's young. Just had best win of his career, I guess you could say, and a hometown performance. And now he's feeling himself. And he did what I knew he was going to do, which was to clout chase, which you see a lot of top ranked fighters, a lot of dazn fighters do to PBC fighters. This is the reality of it, right? Now, you guys could say whatever you want. I'm going to make this to the point. Some people are gonna, Tank has a lot of fans, but he also has some hate. So some people, no matter what, they have a bias anyway. So no matter what I say, they already have their minds made up. I'm not really making this to them. You can believe me, you can believe other content creators, whatever. But to be honest, and see, this is the part that becomes a little bit frustrating for me. It becomes a bit frustrating when Keyshawn has a win like he does, and you want to just give full credit and say, job well done, good job, pat on the back. But when you go overboard with it and you drag it, then it becomes something else. And then that's when your boy Ego, the king of boxing talk, the best in the business, and it's not even close, the voice of reason, the voice of God, the Elohim of boxing, that's when I gotta come in and set the record straight. I didn't want to have to do this. Like I said, I would be perfectly fine just saying, great win, Keyshawn, keep on trucking, what's next, within reason. But now that Keyshawn is doing what he's doing, we gotta really talk about it. Gustavo Lemos is a solid win for Keyshawn Davis. There was an element of danger based on one thing: the problems that Richardson Hitchens had with Lemos at 140. So this isn't like a Caleb Plant where we've seen him in the Anthony Durrell fight. We've seen him versus Uzcategui in the title fight. We've seen him versus Canelo Peve. We've seen him versus Trevor McCumbee. We've seen him versus David Benavidez. Caleb Plant is one of them ones. So you know him to be a good fighter because of his resume and the people he's fought. Gustavo Lemos is known for really one fight. So for Keyshawn to beat him, that is good for where he's at in his career, but let's not get carried away. Gustavo Lemos, his claim to fame was losing to Africa Richardson Hitchens, and it was at 140 pounds. These are the facts. Now, some people are gonna be, oh, Ego, you're hating. Kiss my, because there's no hate when you're telling the truth. That's the reality of it. So for Keyshawn to be, oh, Tank ain't this and shut up and fight me, your resume is trash. Bro, Keyshawn has a record of 12-0. How dare you? Like, this is some audacity for a person with a 12-0 record like Keyshawn Davis to be trying to chastise anybody else's resume when your best win is Gustavo Lemos, who, for real, we don't really know that much about outside of the Hitchens fight. And just because Hitchens had some issues with him, this was at 140 pounds, and maybe Lemos is a better fighter, because to be honest, Lemos missing weight by so much is one of two things. Either you had bad things happen in camp and you're undisciplined, somewhere in that category, or you did it for a strategic edge. I've already told you, for me, I'm always going to assume the worst in these situations, that maybe you did it on purpose and you could still perform, period. But judging how flat and horrible Lemos looked, he didn't even look like the same fighter that fought Richardson Hitchens. So after seeing it, it leads me to believe that this wasn't strategic at all. This wasn't, maybe you made some money in the Hitchens fight and you were in Argentina because you know the conversion rate is different. So you get a chunk of change in America and you take it back home over there in Argentina, you could be living like a king. So it's very possible that Lemos did that. He did the Maidana, got the biggest bag of his career, and then, got fat and, was less disciplined. That is very possible. So for Keyshawn, again, 12-0, and he's like, you don't have a resume, to Tank, it sounds crazy. The face of boxing is not just about resume only either. It's also about butts and seats. This man just sold 10,000 at home. Bravo. Tank Davis sold more than that at home versus Ricardo Nunes many years ago. So you got a lot of catching up to do. But again, you guys accept this type of behavior, which is funny to me, where you have a person with a worse resume talking about someone else who has a better resume. I don't care what you say. Tank has a better resume than Keyshawn Davis for sure, right? And they're 5 years apart in age, right? And one's an Olympian. That's the reality of it. So that's like a homeless person. You walk by a homeless person, you got a, pretty good job. You make 65,000, 70,000 a year. And the homeless person looks at you and says, your watch is cheap. You're broke. How can a homeless person say that you're broke? Do you get the analogy? That's what Keyshawn is saying. He's saying, look at you. You have a horrible resume. Then he goes on and says, you don't have no Sugar Ray Leonards. You don't have any Marvin Haglers on your ledger, on your resume. Neither do you. So what are we talking about? But beyond that, if that's your true argument, if you think that's a good argument, anybody who agrees with that, oh, he doesn't have any Sugar Ray Leonards or Marvin Hagler. You took two legendary fighters from yesteryear that don't even fight at lightweight, like Hagler, who stayed a middleweight his whole career, and Sugar Ray Leonard, and you're saying Tank don't got none of them on his resume. So tell me who at 135/140 has a Hagler and a Sugar Ray Leonard equivalent on their resume. Do you see how stupid this sounds? That would be like someone trying to diss Ego, Boxing Ego, and saying, Ego, your YouTube channel doesn't have a single video that did over 10 billion views. Okay. Nobody in my niche has one video, a single video that did 10 billion views. Nobody in boxing has that. So how can you try to, eliminate me or expose me or whatever when nobody has that? I mean, Sugar Ray Leonard and Hagler, name somebody, Lomachenko, who's his Sugar Ray Leonard equivalent or Marvin Hagler equivalent that he got on his resume? And he got multiple losses and he barely got 20 fights. Stop playing. Boxing fans have an insane recency bias where they'll just look at your last fight and then, you know, overly judge you. Like Boots, last 2 fights, you know, defense looked a little bit leaky. Some people are just writing him off completely. But when he was knocking out Villa and knocking out everybody else, Chris Algieri or whoever, you know, everybody was like, oh, Boots is up next. Now Keyshawn has 1 solid win against a guy we don't even know if he was really focused for the fight. And then people forget, in his last 4 fights, 1 was a no contest, no decision against Nair Albright, and he didn't really look that great in that fight. And then he fought Jose Pedraza. Pedraza's washed. That's a top ranked special. So yeah, he got the knockout in it, like 6 rounds or something like that. But that's definitely not the Pedraza that Tank fought. And then he fought that Miguel Medueno dude, and he didn't look great in that fight, and it went 10 out of 10 rounds. Now all of a sudden he fights Gustavo Lemos, who looks immediately different than he did in the Hitchens fight, and you know, he gets the victory. So to be honest, it's not enough for you to be saying what you're saying about Tank, in my opinion. You fought Rolly's leftovers, and it took you longer to knock him out. That's Anthony Yigit. You fought Juan Carlos Burgos. I remember Burgos was relevant when Mikey Garcia was fighting. So like, none of these wins are remotely, these are all top ranked specials. And Burgos, he went 8 rounds with Keyshawn Davis. Now because Keyshawn has, I guess, a better win in people's eyes with Lemos, he's talking crazy to Tank. I mean, good luck. We'll see if that gets you the fight. Furthermore, we all know Tank is fighting Lamont Roach. So you guys can use your brain. What is the baseline if you're not clout chasing? Why would you be all animated doing social media videos when you know you can't fight Tank next anyway? Because Lamont Roach literally did an interview, said 100% the fight's still on. So what's the point? This is just pure clout chasing. And you guys, some of you guys accept it. To me, it looks bad. It's really bad when you look on boxing websites and they got articles about it. And they're saying, is Keyshawn Davis stalking Gervonta Davis? This is the headline of the video. It says, is Keyshawn stalking him? So that's how you know it's bad, you know? So to me, I don't think this gets him anywhere closer to a Gervonta Davis fight. He could continue doing it. It's not gonna hurt me. It's not gonna make me look crazy. But this ain't it. To me, this is not the way to go about it. Like, it's not even a call out. I don't care. You're a fighter, okay? You want to fight another fighter, but what you're saying got to add up. You're saying his resume sucks when your resume is far worse. Period. And I will argue and debate. Put some money up. Let's do a real live debate, and you could debate Keyshawn Davis, his resume, but we're gonna put up some real money and have a real winner. I'll challenge anybody to that bait. You debate on behalf of Keyshawn 12-0 record is somehow better than Gervonta Davis's record, and I'll take the side of Gervonta Davis, and we'll see who looks dumb and knows they're boxing. I would definitely do that for some money. So put the money up. See, this is what I'm saying. You guys listen to nonsense, and there's a lot of clickbaitsters in content creation right now. So to talk and bag on Tank and diss Tank, they feel they could up their viewership by taking that stance. But I don't care about none of that. I get views no matter what. At the end of the day, what a person says to me gotta make sense. And what Keyshawn Davis is saying after the one little funky win versus Gustavo Lemos ain't making sense. Point blank, period. Y'all can take that to the bank. Lastly, another reason you know it's clout chasing, Top Rank just put out a graphic. It said who's next. They didn't even include Gervonta Davis's name because they know that fight is not happening, right? It said Dennis Baranchuk, said Lomachenko, which probably won't happen for Keyshawn next either. And it said Murataya, I believe. It didn't say nothing about no goddarn Tank Davis because they know it's not finna happen. Terrence Crawford was seated next to Shakur Stevenson, and somebody asked Shakur Stevenson, they were watching Keyshawn's fight, and they said, oh, Shakur, who's gonna get Tank first, you or Keyshawn Davis? Terrence Crawford jumped in and says, big bro Shakur gotta get him first. So your old man, your big bro is telling you you're not gonna get the Tank fight before Shakur Stevenson. So that's how I know this is clout chase. You know you're not in play to get no Tank fight. You don't have the cars, you don't have the resume, you don't have the leverage, you don't have the popularity. Like Keyshawn Davis at this point, not saying he can't grow, but where you're at right now, you done one thing. You fought on a Friday, bro. Shakur fighting on Thursday, you fighting on Friday. These dudes aren't even getting Saturday main event slots in America with their network. And you think that Tank is worried about your call out? You know, you got people. It's just so funny, man. I know I'm the best in the business, but it's so funny what people try to do and attempt to get away with. You got a handful of people, they say, oh, Keyshawn called out Tank, so he deactivated his Twitter. Then you got other people running around, and there's a Gervonta Davis fan account, and the fan account is, you know, putting whatever they're putting on Twitter. And then you got people who are saying that, oh, look, this is what Tank said about Keyshawn Davis. What? Make that make sense. Slow it down. I just dissed you. At first, they said that Tank deactivated his complete Twitter because of Keyshawn, out of fear because Keyshawn called him out, right? So if his Twitter is deactivated in your world because of Keyshawn Davis, then how are people quoting a Twitter account and saying Gervonta Davis, you know, he is talking about Keyshawn Davis if his Twitter is supposed to be deactivated? See, this is what I'm saying. You guys don't even make sense, and you know it. Either he's deactivated because of Keyshawn, or he's on Twitter still talking about Keyshawn. And if you look at it, it's not even a verified Gervonta Davis page. So again, you got a section of fans running around and spreading these fallacies about Tank one way or another. He's so scared he deactivated his Twitter account. I mean, the man's a pro fighter. What would deactivating a Twitter account really do for you? You get what I'm saying? And then if you're going to take that role and say he deactivated his Twitter out of fear, then how within the same timeline are you saying that Tank is talking trash to Keyshawn in tweets? How is he talking trash in tweets if he deactivated his Twitter? I don't know, man, but y'all got me confused. Checkmate. We unpack.